8 statements under duress. 5 men are on trial for the murder of the Bafana Bafana soccer star in 2014. Defense lawyer Thulani Mgomezulu is currently cross-examining Mokgane. Paul Magubane reports.
Sergeant Mokgane gave a detailed report on the vehicle data, stipulating times and routes travelled, when Ntanzi allegedly made the first confession statement on the 19th of June 2020. The defense alleges that Ntanzi was assaulted, suffocated and tortured at various stops before being forced into signing the statement. Although Ngomezulu has been taking Mokgane on the various routes, he is unable to recall street names and turns. Judge Rata Mokgwatleng has now advised they use Google Maps in order to help with the confusion.
The Johannesburg Emergency Services have recovered the body of an 18-year-old man in the Klip Valley River in Kliptown in Soweto. He fell into the river while trying to cross it yesterday. The search for him resumed this morning after it was called off last night. Johannesburg Emergency Services spokesperson Robert Mulahodzi.
The body will be handed over to South African Police Service for further investigations. We just want to plead with our residents to continue to look after young kids, to stay away from river streams, since now the water levels are much more higher, so that we can be able to prevent incidents like this one.
And finally, the Israeli military has confirmed incubators, baby food and medical supplies tanks have brought from Israel have successfully reached the Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza. Israel's medical teams and Arabic-speaking soldiers are on the ground to ensure the supplies reach those in need. Israel has also confirmed that 5 militants have been killed and weapons found inside the Al-Shifa compound during a raid this morning. The health ministry in Gaza has confirmed the raids. Hamas has, however, denied using the hospital as its command center. Recapping the top story, the IEC Chief Electoral Officer Sai Mamabolo says with approximately 26 million of the 39 million eligible voters in South Africa on the voters' roll, it's important to increase the participation in elections. For SAFM News, I am Anne Musa.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide. Leading the conversation.
Mzansi, we thank you for what you did yesterday, today, and what you will do tomorrow to meet your tax obligations. By submitting your income tax returns on time and keeping your personal and banking information up to date, you have made your tax matters daily matters. Our gratitude as SARS is immeasurable. We thank you for contributing to our country's prosperity. Visit sars.gov.za to keep your details updated. Your tax matters. SARS at your service.
Dear Africa Chipembe,
Siyabonga.
Realeboga. Thank you for experiencing the Rugby World Cup France 2023 in your language of choice on SABC radio stations and SABC TV channels.
This journey is fulfilling and exhilarating when you are on board.
The front row belongs to Africa Tonga.
Brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga. Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
I'm drifting away into the darkness. Ndizothatha umthwalo ndimbeke emqolo mama. Ubomi bunzima. So lift my head up high. Open my eyes and I will fly. Heavens will open. Mdali wesulu dikhalela kuwe. Open up. I'm feeling closer now. The light is shining brighter, but I'm losing my flow. Kudala isiwa ndivuka. Ndifuna Nifuna no lutando. something. Tell me I'm nothing. Don't care what they're saying. I'm begging you, darling. Stop losing your flow. No more drifting. No more drifting away. Livumile kamaku. Akulekila masulu. I'm fighting for survival. Dilikawe, dilikawe, dingonyama. Fuleka, 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 fuleka masulu, fuleka masulu, fuleka masulu, fuleka, 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 fuleka masulu, fuleka masulu, fuleka masulu.
It is Amanda Black coming through with Amazulu, and that is how we open up the show on this Wednesday afternoon. Coming to you from Auckland Park, it is the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga, leading the conversation. And today we have joining us in studio the founder of Basani Cleaners, Macmillan Masoka, who is going to be my first guest in conversation with me today. But we've got lots of show still coming your way. We also have Made in SA coming up. And on the other side of 2 o'clock, we're having a conversation around fatherhood. It's always interesting when we engage these conversations. So it should be interesting, how we are defining fatherhood, especially considering our collective background as Black parents and what that means in the modern context, and how we father, not just parent, but how we father our children. That conversation is coming up a little bit later. It is Entrepreneurship Week, and we've focusing some of our conversations this week on some of South Africa's leading entrepreneurs. We get to hear a little bit about their stories, and that is why Macmillan Masoka is with me today. 086 000 2032. That's the number you can call us on, or 061 410 4107. That's our WhatsApp line.
Across South Africa, online and on radio. SAFM, let's talk.
Ford is turning 100, and there's never been a better time to buy a brand new Ford. We're giving away 100 vouchers worth an amazing 50,000 Rand each, and the sensational grand prize of us paying for one lucky winner's Ford. It's the celebration of the century. Visit a Ford dealer, buy a new Ford, and win. T&Cs apply.
Have you ever noticed how unique the rugby ball is?
You should check out Head High.
The rise of junior rugby stars Mana and Tai.
Vince is not just their stepfather, he's their coach.
Catch the brothers' dream of the black jersey, Head High, every Sunday at 9 p.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4. Also available on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com.
Hashtag Rugby Drama Galore. Brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
If you're active on social media and love SAFM, we hope you'll take a moment to like or follow our SAFM page on Facebook and Twitter. These are the best places to find all the guest information, conversations, and stories you love from your favorite presenters, along with regular updates from SABC News. And don't forget, you can send your questions to feedback@safm.co.za. SAFM, leading the conversation. The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
It is Entrepreneurship Week, and for the first moments of the show, we thought we'd be in conversation with founder of Basani Cleaners, Macmillan Masoka, who really, if you are on social media, particularly on X and Facebook, you've probably seen some of his aggressive but endearing marketing tactics and the stories that he shares with us about his business, his life, how he came to found Basani and all the incredible things that he does over and above just being an entrepreneur. Firstly, how are you? Good afternoon. Thank you for coming.
Hey, Bridget. Great, thanks. How are you? Thank you for having me.
It's only a pleasure. It's only a pleasure. I've caught your life story in drips and drabs here and there, but you've got a very interesting life story because, before you founded Basani Cleaners, you found yourself on the streets.
I did.
Yeah. How did you come to be on the streets at 16?
Sure. So I lived in the villages. My mom was in Randburg. I wanted to move this side. She was like, no. And I decided to catch a taxi to Joburg.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell her I was coming to Joburg. So I thought, Joburg was a small town like Brits. And I found myself on the streets. It was those times before cell phones. And I think I was on the streets for a year.
Sure.
And the amazing part about it is that it was the ladies of the night that actually protected me and took me in and said, you are our little brother, we are going to save you. And they took me home, and a year later they gave me money and I went back home.
Yeah. I mean, you say it now like it's such a, it's a nonchalant thing. But for a 16-year-old boy, doe-eyed and starry-eyed, getting on a taxi, going to... What were you seeking, firstly, getting on the taxi? What did you think, apart from mom and the safety of mom's, mom's love and nurture, what were you seeking coming to Joburg?
I think it was just my path, because I've really tried to reflect on it. To think what could have been the cause, and I can't find anything big enough that made me go to the streets. But I think it was my path. I needed to go through that so that I can be where I am now, because my business is people. So for me to get to a point where I do not judge, where I love everyone the same, I had to go to the streets and get saved by people from the streets so that I could just be love. Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine. You say that you were saved by ladies of the night.
Yeah.
Sex worker ladies, as commonly known.
Yeah.
And I know at some point, they took you in, and a pimp named Babzulu.
Yeah, you remember the story.
A pimp named Babzulu became your protector and became, to some degree, almost like a family.
Yes.
Yeah.
And at first he did not want me there, but the lady that the sex worker that decided that she was taking me home with her insisted that I'm going to live there with them. So he got used to the idea that I was there, and eventually I was just one of his kids. Unfortunately, I went back about 2 years ago to try and find them because I had not been there in years. And I found that only the daughter and the son were alive. Everyone else had passed on. And the son died, unfortunately, Tula, a year later. But I did a documentary where their daughter, who was there when I moved in with them, was on the documentary, because eventually I came back and I gave her a job.
Yeah.
And now she works for one of my clients.
Lovely.
So, yeah.
That year, that year, you arrive in Joburg, you find yourself on the streets, you find refuge, with sex workers, and they pimp. And if I'm clear about how I know your story, is there was no sexual anything here. They literally just saw a young man and decided that they are going to bring him into this very abstract family.
Absolutely. There was nothing like that. I didn't see any of it.
Yeah.
I'd go with them to stand on the street, especially in winter, so we could help them make a fire. But they protected me from all of that. But on Sundays, because Bab Zulu and his wife lived in in the biggest bedroom there, right, in Yeovil. So on Sundays we would all gather in the room in his bedroom, but he wouldn't be there. It would be his wife, and it would be all the girls, and I'd be there, and their kids as well, and we would all watch an omnibus of Days of Our Lives, and everyone was just a kid, Because, if you look at a lot of these sex workers were young as well. They were a bit older than me, but they were in the 19, 18. So we'd all sit there and watch TV together, and we'd all be kids back home, And on Monday, it would be back to work again, Yeah.
What does a 16-year-old learn, when you reflect back on it now? What does a 16-year-old learn from that experience, from being on the streets, and also from being in this environment with sex workers and pimps, where on Sundays, though, these were just people who, for all intents and purposes, adopted you and became family?
I think at the time, because I was a very soft kid, from the village, but going there and being in that environment, I got to be tougher because I got to listen to stories. I got to know how some of them landed there. And it made me see life from a different light because, I came from a very protected home, and I realized that not everyone is from the same environment, and people do things sometimes people react a certain way based on the fact that they were never loved. So it taught me to just love people for just being humans, and to not be quick to judge because you don't know where someone comes from.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We are in conversation with Macmillan Masoka, who is the founder of Basani Cleaners, and they are an exceptional cleaning company. He's going to tell us a bit more how he got into this business, but he's also an entrepreneur. Basani is the foundation of his business journey, but through his life, Macmillan has done so much. At some point, he's opened up a Shisanyama and a salon, from what I know, both of them having failed. He's been in the corporate world, having worked for Barclays Bank at some point, and now he finds himself steering the ship of Basani and everything else that has come because of this business. And so much more has come from just a cleaning business. And you often go to social media and you go, it's because of the people that you've met along the way.
Yes.
In what sense?
So, for instance, I also executive produced quite a few TV shows. And it all came from, I went to clean for a TV director, Zugonotata.
Yes.
And we had a conversation. 2 months later, he calls me during COVID and he says, listen, we want to start shooting our own content. I want to bring you in as an executive producer. So I'm like, I don't even know what that is. Says, no, I'll walk you through it. And I went in and we did our first show called Hush Money, which was on SABC 1. And then a year later, he came to me, he said, listen, we want to shoot Mendoza, the life of Mendoza for BET.
Yeah.
And we need a certain amount of money. Can you bring us the money and come in and executive produce this show as well? So I called up some of my clients and we did the show and executive produced it. After that, we shot something else that's going to be on Netflix as well.
Yeah.
Because I brought in another one of my clients to come in and invest in the show as well, which is a movie called Downtown Josie. So because of all the relationships that I've built with my clients, the trust that I've built, I'm able to sit with them and say, hey guys, there is an opportunity on TV to to invest and make money and own your own stories.
Yeah.
Because that's what we want at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
And yeah, they've been very receptive.
Do you think it's part, I mean, you know, you sound like to me a multifaceted business person, like you recognize an opportunity. Do you think it's part business savvy? Do you think it's part your social net worth and recognizing how to leverage off it? Or do you think it's a multitude of things that have placed you in this position to tap into so many things?
I believe it's both. So I used to just link people up, right? And then about 4 years ago, I was invited to a mining indaba. So I called one of my clients to come and join us. And it was all the way in Rustenburg, middle of nowhere at a mine. And people just kept coming to me and say, "Hey, Mac," and these were executives at the mine. They were like, "Hey, Mac, this is Basani owner. So then my client says to me, "Mac, how do you not leverage on this? You know, you need to make sure that you turn this into a business, you know, instead of just linking up people."
Yeah.
And that's what I started doing. I started making sure that when I go to my clients, I find out what they do for a living, so that if there's a business opportunity somewhere, I'm able to call them and say, "Listen, this, I can put you in touch with this one, but I want to come and partner up with you guys."
Yeah.
So now I just partner up, and yeah, that's what I do.
You know, as you're talking, Mac, and you can see my eyes quickly darting, trying to find this information.
Yes.
There was a documentary that I saw on Netflix about 2 years ago. And he passed on last year, I think, this old man. And he was one of the greatest connectors in Hollywood.
Yes.
A frail little black, old suave man.
He's actually still alive.
Is he?
Yeah, he's alive. I think it's his wife that
passed
was
on.
murdered. Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, and you strike me that you have a similar acumen, because he's known as one of the most powerful persons in Hollywood, in entertainment.
Yeah.
And his power lays in his ability to be able to connect the dots, to say, "Mac, you need to speak to Bridget, and you'll need to speak to X about this thing." And he makes those connections for people.
I call him my mentor. You know?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I call him my mentor because I watched his story and I just wanted to be him, you know. And I looked at what people say about him, like what he brings into their lives. And I was like, okay, this man is not trying to compete with anyone in any space. He just puts people together.
Yeah.
And he understands the business side of business, you know, because a lot of people are in business, but they don't understand the business side of business as well.
Absolutely.
So I've been following him, and that's why you
Clarence
see...
Avant.
Yes.
Known as the Hollywood Godfather.
Yes. The Black Godfather.
Yes.
Yeah, so I've been following him, and that's why you see traces of him in what I do. I'm still a bit far from where he is, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah. Incredible story, by the way, that of Clarence Avant. If you're listening to us today, you definitely must go and do some Googling. The Black Godfather, the untold story of a man who's holding up Hollywood. And this is what The Guardian wrote about him. He really is a phenomenal connector of individuals and talents. Let's take a quick break here, and then we come back and continue our story with Macmillan this afternoon, the owner and founder of Basani Cleaners. And we'll find out about how his journey has been over the last few years as he's built his multi-tiered business.
Good afternoon. Thanks, Bridget. In the headlines, a dog attack has left a woman and a 3-year-old son in a critical condition in Bluff in the south of Durban. They were walking up a road when the dog escaped from the yard of its owner and attacked them. The IEC Chief Electoral Officer Sai Mamabolo says with approximately 26 million of the 39 million eligible voters in South Africa on the voters' roll, it's important to increase the participation in elections. He was speaking at a media briefing at the IEC headquarters in Pretoria ahead of the National Registration Weekend. And Britain's Supreme Court is about to deliver a critical judgment on the legality of the government's plan to send some asylum seekers to Rwanda. I'll have details on these and other stories at 2.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide. Leading the conversation.
When business challenges rise, so do we. Because hey, kuningi. Luckily, Bidvest Bank is a bank built out of business. So, customizable services come naturally. And once we get to know you, your ambitions, and the seasons of your business, we can tailor the efficiencies and solutions that help turn your income into the outcome your business needs. Visit bidvestbank.co.za to learn more. Bidvest Bank, banking built for your business. An authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
The grass will suffer more when JVWFC confront University of the Western Cape ladies. This is the Hollywood Bet Super League. Third place JVWFC are looking for maximum points to get closer to second positioned UWC ladies. But the Western Cape institution want the highest possible marks. Witness the queens of the beautiful game, JVWFC versus UWC ladies, the Sunday 19 November at 2:30 p.m. live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 and SABC 1. Also available on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Hashtag we love it here. Brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
You're listening to Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
We are in studio for Entrepreneurship Week with Macmillan Masoka, who is the founder of Basani Cleaners. And no doubt you have seen his comms on social media. If you're on social media, he cleans the private residencies of some of your favorite and biggest celebrities. But over and above that, this is not just, Basani is not a run-of-the-mill bespoke cleaning service offering itself, to VIP clientele. But this is a business that is on a proper scale, cleaning mines, multi-billion rand entities. You're not a bespoke little moms and pops for celebrities only operation.
No, but I even clean in Deep Slot.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of clients in townships, in Alex and everywhere else. We are just a people's business. We just decided that we were going to bring flair into cleaning. We were going to bring honor in a business where, that's our parents, that's what they used to do. They used to clean for other people, right? So we decided that we were going to bring honor in that, And I've got some of the people that work for me are actually graduates, because I sit graduates down and I say, listen, you can't sit with your degree and wait. Your job will find you along the way. Get up, let's work. Do something for yourself, for your family, find some dignity back, and whatever you want to do. Some of our clients are CEOs, so when you are there, be kind, and maybe they'll see you, and that has happened. One of the ladies that worked for me, Nozipo, now works for a petroleum company at Lanseria Airport, and he's a supervisor, not in cleaning. She went there as a cleaner, and they recognized their talent, and they recognized what she had done at school, and they gave her an opportunity.
Would you say it's your ability to tap in even to your experiences going back to when you were 16 that have positioned Basani differently to other entities? Your ability to recognize human capacity, to recognize human resource, and to honor the connection of it. Because from everything I've heard you say today and previously, it's not just about the business.
Yes.
You almost say the business is about the humans in the business.
It is the humans first. I've had, like you said, I've had quite a lot of businesses that failed. But every time some of my clients would move with me to the next business. So I would have a shisanyama and I'd have people traveling from Pretoria and everywhere else to come and support that business because they wanted to be around me. And it would close down and I'd open something else, and the same people and more people would just move with me to that next business over and over again. And that's when I realized that it's all about the people. People buy you. You know, a lot of people can do what you do as a business, but people just buy you.
I like that. All right. So tell me a bit about Basani, because we talk as though it's something that's been up and running for 10 years, but not really. It's if we take away COVID years, which you were operational, but it is COVID years. If we take away COVID years, you've been in business for like less than 5 years.
Yeah, we can't take those away because then I've been in business for 3 years. So I've been in business for 6 years. And when I started the business, I was actually working for Barclays Africa as a employee benefits consultant. And I bought the machines. I would put them in my car. After work, I would go and clean for my colleagues. And that's how it started. And they told other people. I started advertising. Eventually, I left the job and I started focusing solely on the business. And that's what happened. But what happened was 2-3 years later, when we were picking up, then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, I started going through the internet. I went on YouTube. I was like, what did other people do when world wars happened? You know, because I mean, after world wars, you had companies that never came back, and you had other people that really flourished. And that helped me to think outside of the box. Then I had a client who has a fashion company. So I approached him and I said, listen, why don't you make masks? I come in from the cleaning part of things. You come in, you do fashion. Let's make masks. And we did that, and we started getting TV interviews, radio interviews, and the rest is history. We made quite a bit of money during COVID because of that.
And actually, during COVID, I saw you a lot. It's almost as though your marketing drive was amped up at a time when the world was standing still.
It was. I mean, we started making we started going to people's houses to go and spray. And unfortunately, we saw a lot of people die as well. I almost died from COVID as well. So it was a tough time for a lot of people. We were able to make quite a bit of money, but it was a tough time for us as well because we had to see so much death and sorrow. But business-wise, it was an amazing time for us.
And in our final moments, Macmillan, you started Basani. It's doing incredibly well. Off it, you've leveraged these relationships to springboard yourself into other things, entertainment, etc., etc. But you still, at the essence, are still focused on Basani. Some would go, hey man, like you've got shows and movies coming up on BET, on Netflix, and this and that and the other. Why not just go for the glitz and glamour industries? Because
my core business is cleaning. Everything that I've done or everyone that I've met was through cleaning, and the job is not done yet. So we need to take care of the cents and the rents will come, right? So a lot of people, they make that mistake once. So my focus has always been, the cents, which is your cleaning of your rugs and your mattresses. The big businesses, they come and they go. But the everyday job, that's what sustains the business. That's what pays the salaries. So I never forget that. Yes. It's been a pleasure catching up with you this afternoon. You can find him, by the way, on social media. He doesn't just share everybody's literal dirty mattresses, but he also shares all of his other endeavors. He oftentimes, with the help of some of his friends and clients, putting kids through school, stepping in when people need assistance in all kinds of ways, whether it's matric dances, whatever it is, laptops, he's just
when he says that the business is about the people, it really is about the people. And they do a damned-up job as well at cleaning everything from the small mattress in your house to your big 50-floor corporate building that you need scrubbed from top to bottom. They are your people. That was Macmillan Masoka coming to us for Entrepreneurial Week today. It's just gone 22 at 2 o'clock. We're going to leave it there for now. We come back on the other side of this with another entrepreneur for Made in SA.
SAFM has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Under the code, we are committed to giving news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that is not harmful, does not amount to hate speech, or contain violence or explicit sex. If you think we are not living up to that code, then you can inform the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. Direct any complaints in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa. PO Box 142365. Craig Hall 2024. Fax to 011-326-3198 or an email to bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more information, please visit www.bccsa.co.za.
SFM invites you to our inaugural public lecture delivered by the former Chief Justice Mogoeng Mogoeng. The theme of the lecture is Constitutionalism and Upholding the Rule of Law in South Africa. Has corruption and malfeasance eroded the moral fabric of the democratic dispensation? The lecture will take place on the 29th of November 2023 at the SABC M1 Studios in Johannesburg. Secure your seat by emailing us at info@safm.co.za.
SAFM, leading the conversation.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
Still focusing on Entrepreneurial Week or Entrepreneurial Week today, we are chatting to Paul Masilo, founder of Freshmore Brands for Made in SA.
Made in SA with Bridget Masinga.
I mean, technically, I wanted to say Entrepreneurship Week. How are you doing, Paul?
I am good and excited to be here.
Oh, fantastic. Well, listen, Paul Masilo is the founder of Freshmore Brands.
Yes.
You have proven the phrase that hard work pays off. Tell me about how Freshmore mouthwash actually started. How did this come about?
Very quick one. It started actually in 2016, during my fasting time in January, So normally I would, all these previous years, I would carry a bottle of mouthwash, when I go to my meetings. And then, this other day I was looking for my mouthwash, to prepare for my meetings. And then, I found my mouthwash sitting actually next to a tomato sauce bottle. Tomato sauce sachet. Then it was a light bulb moment to say, why can't I put a mouthwash in a sachet?
Yes.
Because I used to carry it, in a bottle.
That big bottle.
It was bulky, So that's how Freshmore came about,
I love it. And but Paul brought us a sampling of Freshmore and a beautiful packaging, SABS approved, and it comes in little transportable sachets. So you literally you were the solution to your own problem.
Yes. Actually, it was more built as we were doing more research. We built Freshmore particularly to fill in the gap between brushing your teeth in the morning and brushing your teeth in the evening. Because that gap in between, we normally fill it with sweets and chewing gums,
Yes.
And we all know the story of sweets and chewing gums, tooth decay. So, that's basically the aim of Freshmore. It's easy to carry around,
Yes.
It's convenient, Yeah.
Absolutely. And was this something you were thinking of prior to that? I mean, you say you were in your fasting season, so obviously you were using a lot of mouthwash to just keep yourself fresh. So was this an idea that already had germinated maybe years prior, that you were already thinking that, somewhere in the future I might want to do mouthwash?
No, not necessarily. I've always believed that, Africans have got brilliant minds, and I've always believed I'm somebody who likes to innovate things, who would like to say, what if we can do something different, because normal traditionally our mouthwash has been done in, packaged in bottles, So I wanted something that's convenient, because even previously, before I did actually the mouthwash, I produced a solar powered clothing iron together with CSIR.
Okay.
So I've always believed in doing things that are out of the box,
So you've always been an innovator.
Yes, I get bored if I don't innovate something.
Now, tell me this, because, we just had Macmillan earlier on, who's also a serial entrepreneur, and he talks very much about, for him, it's been identifying opportunity and maximizing on his relationships, his client relationships he's built over the years. For you, building this brand Freshmore, because you're competing with a lot of people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of well-known dental brands that are playing in this space. How easy was it for you?
It has been a difficult journey, but when you've got a dream, you have to pursue it until it comes to life, because remember, all our mouthwash in Africa is made by companies from outside Africa. Your toothbrush, your toothpaste, your dental floss, your mouthwash, they're all made by companies from outside Africa. So my question at the back of my mind was to say, why we are using these dental care products and they are made by companies from outside Africa. Don't we have brains that can actually do something for Africa, in the dental space? So we went into that space. Yes, we're competing with big guys, with big budgets and stuff like that. But we are in Africa. We are going to do it for Africa. And with the mouthwashes for Africa, we are going to do it and compete with them,
Absolutely. I mean, I love your enthusiasm for it, but you're right. Big budgets that you are competing with there with big international conglomerates. So how are you managing to infiltrate that? Because entrepreneurs, especially those who sell products, will tell you that you need to get your products in the hands of people, which means you need shelf space.
Yes, you do need shelf space. That has been a challenge, but I think quite a lot of opportunities that are available in the retail space. Currently, like already we are on macro marketplace. We're already on One Day Deal. We already on Avo, the NetBank online shop. We're busy actually finalizing to go into 2 big retail shops. Probably in the new year, it's going to bring us new exciting news, when we put Freshmore into those 2 big retail shops here. So because we are at a sensitive stage now, I cannot reveal the 2 names. But in January, definitely if you check our socials, everything will be there, which are 2 big retail shops that are going to have Freshmore.
Freshmore. And speaking of socials, are you maximizing on the power of social media, word of mouth?
Yes, because, we don't have a marketing budget and advertising budget. That's definitely the avenue that we are using, because it's affordable to us, but with great impact, those platforms have got a great impact, even at a low cost, So we're definitely utilizing those,
I love it.
So all our socials are Freshmore, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Freshmore.
I was about to ask you, because we're fast running out of time, to say for anyone listening that wants to place an order for themselves or perhaps for the office, because you know what I love about this also, if you're in a corporate environment, you can put this in the bathroom dispensers.
Yes.
And time to time I've forgotten to brush my teeth, so this could come in handy.
Yes. Yeah, so you can actually buy direct from us while we are finalizing the availability of it on the retail shops. You can actually buy via the WhatsApp 068-675-1856. It's actually a chatbot, so it connects you to the sales process and links you to even a courier company that will deliver the product to you. So yes, and we're also busy building our e-commerce store to actually use so that people can actually easily buy direct from us.
Give us that WhatsApp number one more time.
068-675-1856, or they can call me on 084-273-7821.
Fantastic. But Paul, it's been a blast meeting you today. All the very best of luck. That was Paul Masilo, founder of Freshmore Brands, and it's sachet mouthwash. And there are 30 sachets in the pack, alcohol-free, SABS approved, so you know that it's the good stuff. It's past the quality control. And you can find him on WhatsApp if you'd like to place an order on 068-675-1856. Let's take a quick break here. It is The Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga.
November. So much no in November. Can we just squeeze this last job in? No. Feeling pumped, guys? No. Will we ever make it to December? No. It's November. So, we're charging no fees for 6 months when you sign up for a 10x retirement product in November. No fees, no drama, just results. Speak to a retirement expert today. 10x your future. 10x is a licensed FSP. T's and C's apply.
The Proteas are highly inspired to book their first ticket to the one-day International Cricket World Cup final.
However, they must first bring down 5-time champs Australia.
The Aussies insist on having a great day at Eden Gardens. Who will advance to the ODI Cricket World Cup final?
Witness the incredible game. South Africa versus Australia. This Thursday, 16 November at 10 a.m.
Live on S3. Also available on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Subscription fees do not apply. SABC Sport is the official broadcaster of the ICC Men's ODI Cricket World Cup India 2023.
Hashtag the journey of the ultimate glory.
For the love of the game.
You are listening to The Full Circle. This program is brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
Hi, my name is Praise Ziva. I'm from Brixton Primary School and I'm in grade 6. My favorite food is usually junk food because most of my meals include junk food. What I eat during exams is what I usually eat in the evening for lunch and for breakfast, which is my cornflakes. For lunch, it's either bread with jam or something else, a sandwich. And then in the evening, we usually eat pap. So I do not change my diet during exams because I feel whatever I take still keeps me on focus.
Hi guys, my name is Ikonam Kabel and I'm grade 7A. My favorite food is dunked wings. I prefer eating dunked wings than eating burgers and all those stuff. So my diet is not healthy for me while I'm writing exams because eating dunked wings, it might make me not concentrate. So I'm thinking of changing my diet. So changing my diet has concerned me to eat fruits, vegetables. For example, I eat green salad with lettuce, carrots, and vinegar. That helps me concentrate and gives me more energy to be vibrant to be able to write my exams. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Haider Ali Ahmed. I'm in grade 4B. My favorite food is roti and salan. It's basically a Pakistani national food. I think about changing my diet because I heard a lot of people said that if you eat nuts, your brain will be more stronger and you will know everything. So now that I'm writing exams, I think I must eat more nuts and concentrate on my reading. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mohammed Arham Ahmed and I'm a grade 4 learner. My favorite food is noodles and I think I should change my diet because I have heard that other people said that it's not quite healthy. So I changed my diet to be eating some vegetables like salad, carrots while I am doing my exam, like when I'm studying revision or something like that. I think I am enjoying the salads and the vegetables and carrots while I'm doing my exams. So I think, yeah, I'm not going back.
Hi, my name is Nalusana Ngoba and I am from Brixton Primary School. My favorite food is burger. I don't think I would change my diet now while I'm writing exams because I enjoy eating the food that I eat, and I can try and improve my diet by eating healthy foods like fruits and vegetables that can improve my concentration while I'm writing my exams. Personally, I believe that there are some foods that can help with the mind concentration and energy level by being active and just being having a healthy body and also a healthy mind for you to do good work at school also while doing your exams. I don't think children should be told to not eat certain foods as they're writing their exams, because they can also balance their diet. You can eat sweets, but then also you can also eat vegetables, just to balance things out from the unhealthy and the healthy foods. The most important thing to do is to study, guys, because the term 4 year is the final year of all the things we have done and from the grade that you're in. So I think it's important to study for you to do well, to also move to the next grade.
Hi guys, my name is Lucky Masilele. My favorite food is cornflakes. Cornflakes are healthy because I think that they can boost you when you are writing your exams, so I'm still going to eat them. I don't think that I will change my diet. I think sweet things can also help you while you are writing your exams. Sweets give you energy, so that energy might boost your brain while you are writing. So your hand must not get tired. Remember, guys, study really hard. We are now writing exams.
Hi, my name is Gabriela Masinga and I go to Brixton Primary School. My favorite food is spaghetti and I'm not going to change it now that we're writing exams. I don't think I am going to change my diet. But I do think that there are some foods out there that can help you concentrate while writing exams. Foods such as rice and fish. If you feel like you want to change your diet because you want to concentrate more, then that's up to you. Thank you.
My name is Nelisiwe Zondo. I am in grade 4B in Brixton Primary School. I don't think that I will change my diet since we are writing exams because it really does give me energy. And my second favorite food is sweets because it gives me energy. And I don't think that it's based on your diet, like how well you do in your exams. You just need to study very hard. Thank you.
Hello friends! Today let's chat about the ultimate brain-fueling feast during exams. Think of your brain as a superhero gearing up for an epic quest, and your diet is the magical fuel it needs to conquer challenges. Power-packed breakfast. Start your day with a breakfast that's like a superhero energy boost. Whole grains like oats or whole grain toast, along with a mix of protein such as eggs or yogurt. It's like a powerhouse combo that kickstarts your day. Snack smartly. Throughout your study sessions, keep your brain filled with smart snacks. Nuts, fruits, or veggies are like bite-sized energy orbs that keep you going without feeling too heavy. Hydration hero. Water is your hydration superhero. It keeps your brain refreshed and ready to tackle complex problems. Sip on it regularly. You'll be like a well-hydrated study warrior. Include healthy fats in your diet, like avos, nuts, and olive oil. They are like your sidekicks that support your brain's cognitive functions. Healthy fats are the Robin to your Batman. Protein power. Protein-rich foods such as chicken, fish, or plant-based sources like beans are like the muscle builders to your brain. They provide the amino acids needed for optimal brain function. Colorful veggies. Eat a variety of colorful veggies. They are like artists that paint your plate with essential nutrients. The more colors, the more magical nutrients your brain gets. Whole fruit magic. Instead of sugary snacks, opt for whole fruits. They're like the natural sweet treats that provide a steady release of energy, keeping your brains in superhero mode. Balance and moderation. Don't forget the magic of balance. A balanced diet with a mix of nutrients is like the harmony that ensures your brain gets everything it needs. Moderation is like the secret spell to prevent energy crashes. Mindful breaks. Take breaks during your study sessions. And if you need a snack, reach for something that fuels your brain. A mindful break and a brain-boosting snack are like a dynamic duo for optimal studying. So my little superheroes, remember, a well-nourished brain is like having an ultimate study superpower. Feed it right, stay hydrated, and conquer those exams with your brain in top-notch condition. Study very hard. Good luck.
This program was brought to you by SABC Education. enriching minds, enriching lives. Independent and impartial. This is SAFM News.
In our top stories, Durban mother and child attacked by a dog, and Britain's Supreme Court rules on plan to deport asylum seekers to Rwanda. Good afternoon. A dog attack has left a woman and a 3-year-old son in a critical condition in Bluff in the south of Durban. They were walking up a road when the dog escaped from the yard of its owner and attacked them. Advanced Life Support paramedic spokesperson Gareth Jamieson.
Paramedics found both of them to have sustained major dog bites with significant damage to their lower legs and back. Advanced Life Support paramedics worked to stabilise the two on scene before they were rushed through to a nearby hospital for the urgent care that they required.
The IEC Chief Electoral Officer, Sai Mamabolo, says with approximately 26 million of the 39 million eligible voters in South Africa on the voters' roll, it's important to increase the participation in elections. He was speaking at a media briefing at the IEC headquarters in Pretoria ahead of the National Registration Weekend. Mamabolo has called on South Africans to use registration weekends, which he says provide the greatest registration opportunity in comparison with other methods, including online registration.
The Electoral Commission makes an impassioned call on all adult South Africans to seize the moment by registering as voters. Only those who are on the voters' roll can have a say in the electoral outcomes next year. Even if you have not as yet decided to vote, it is still important to be on the voters' roll because your choice can only be recorded if you are registered. Therefore, by not registering, essentially you lose your voice.
The case of 7 men accused of kidnapping a Wits student has been postponed to the 7th of next month. The group made a brief appearance in the Johannesburg Magistrates Court this morning. The men allegedly used a dating app to lure the student. The student, who went missing in September, was rescued by police at the Denver hostels in Johannesburg. This followed a stent operation after the accused allegedly demanded 30,000 rand ransom from the student's family. The judge in the Senzo trial in the High Court in Pretoria, Rata Mokgotleng, has advised that a map of the routes the investigating officer and one of the accused travelled be displayed in court. The defence earlier demanded more evidence from records of the routes Sergeant Vusimusi Mukhane and Bongani Ntanzi had used in June 2020 when the accused allegedly made confession statements. Ntanzi claims he was assaulted and made statements under duress. 5 men are on trial for the murder of the Bafana Bafana soccer star in 2014. The defence lawyer Tulani Mgomezulu is currently cross-examining Mukhane. Paul Magubane reports.
Sergeant Mukhane gave a detailed report on the vehicle data, stipulating times and routes travelled, when Tanzi allegedly made the first confession statement on the 19th of June 2020. The defense alleges that Ntanzi was assaulted, suffocated and tortured at various stops before being forced into signing the statement. Although Ngomezulu has been taking Mukhane on the various routes, he is unable to recall street names and turns. Judge Rata Mokgotleng has now advised they use Google Maps in order to help with the confusion.
Retired police officer Brigadier Jaburger says a combination of the systemic design of policing and deliberate cover-ups is hampering the fight against corruption at Eskom and other SOEs. He was appearing before Scopa, which wanted details on the former Eskom head Andre de Ruyter's allegations of gross corruption, maladministration and crime cartels involving senior politicians. Burger had been mentioned as the police officer de Ruyter spoke to about the allegations. He has for months declined to appear before Scopa, saying it's not the right entity to look into the matter as it concerns national security information. He says the situation at Eskom makes it difficult to conduct proper and sustainable investigations.
Catch the guy with a sack of coal over his shoulder that was stolen. And in essence, we've been keeping ourselves busy with that level, which is the general detective level, according to me. We don't move up to the orchestrators and the kingpins, if you want to call it, behind that. But the way that the organization is, I can almost say, forced to function, is push everything down to I call it the docket level, and not really the organised crime space.
And finally, Britain's Supreme Court has ruled the government's flagship plan to send migrants to Rwanda to have their cases processed is unlawful. This is a big setback to the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. The BBC's correspondent Rob Watson reports.
This is a big moment both legally and politically. The Supreme Court has now unanimously decided asylum seekers can't be sent to Rwanda. It says there is evidence Rwanda might not be able to give them a fair hearing and might send them back to their home countries where they could face inhumane treatment, in clear breach of the United Nations Convention on Refugees. So a key part of Rishi Sunak's policy for dealing with the small boats crossings is in tatters. His only options would appear to be getting Rwanda to improve its standards or for the UK to leave key conventions of the European Court and the United Nations.
Recapping the top story, a dog attack has left a woman and a 3-year-old son in a critical condition in the south of Durban. For SAFM News, I am Anne Musa.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide. Leading the conversation.
The grass will suffer more when JVWFC confront University of the Western Cape ladies. This is the Hollywood Bet Super League. Third place JVWFC are looking for maximum points to get closer to second positioned UWC ladies. But the Western Cape institution want the highest possible marks. Witness the queens of the beautiful game, JVWFC versus UWC ladies, the Sunday 19 November at 2:30 p.m. Live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 and SABC 1. Also available on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. Hashtag we love it here. Brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
Rand Water is concerned about the significant increase of water consumption in its areas of supply. The increase in water consumption is putting severe strain on Rand Water's distribution network. To save water, please do not wash your cars with hose pipes. Use buckets. Water your garden with sprinklers between sunset and sunrise. Do not wash your pavements with hose pipes. Use brooms. Repair your leaking taps. Cover your swimming pools to avoid quick evaporation. Shower instead of bathing in a tub.
This message is sponsored by Rand Water in partnership with City of Joburg, City of Ekurhuleni, and City of Tshwane.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
It's legendary.
I'm in love with you, so much in love with you, yeah, yeah.
A gentleman, you've always been a gentleman to me, my baby. It's under. I don't wanna lie. Hold me like your time don't drum. And without you, I would rather die. So you're my forever. Long to, long to, long to, long to. Humble night, the humble night. Long to, long to, long to, long to. Humble night, the humble night. Yum tata, yum tata, yum tata. The humble yamthatha hamba naye
ngazibona intombi zala kodwa ndifuna wena wesisi yebo ngithanda wena wentombi thando lwakho lungishaya 10,000 awuthando lwakho lungishaya ma-1,000 engihamba nawe mina nawe sinomathinoli ayisofa silahlane angihamba naye lomtu hamba naye hamba naye lomtu hamba naye hamba naye yamthatha hamba naye hamba naye yamthatha hamba naye you're my African queen, you're the girl of my dreams, you're the one in a million love, one in a million love.
It is the full circle. I love it when my crew does that sneak up on me situation. Sisi featuring Mafikizolo on this one with Hamba Naye as we kick off the second hour of the show. It's just gone 10 past 2 o'clock and we're going to be in conversation with Bongani Luvalo talking around parenting. Bongani is a parenting coach and a social commentator and founder of the Cool Dads Foundation. It is Movember, and so we are going to try and have conversations with men about men and things that pertain to men. You know, now, according to the Human Sciences Research Council, most children in South Africa, in fact, over 60% don't live with their biological fathers, and only 20% have contact with their biological fathers twice a week. Firstly, good afternoon, Unjan.
Good afternoon, Bridget. How are you?
I'm fantastic, thank you.
Great stuff.
So we have that statistic, but for the jump off of our conversation, I think also important to understand the context and the history maybe of how we try another set.
Yeah, no continue, sorry, don't worry.
The history of how we come maybe to this particular statistics of 60% of South Africans growing up without their fathers. Yeah.
Look, Bridget, good afternoon to the listeners as well. Look, I think it's quite a dynamic, diverse, not dynamic. I'm pretty dirty pella. We're going towards the end of the day, so English data depletes as we go.
Yes.
Look, I think it's quite, South Africa is quite a diverse country with a number of culture, heritage, norms, and way of doing things, you know. And we find ourselves within that social culture where we've got to observe different things, especially in the black community, you know. First and foremost, there's a question of culture. If you are not married, you're pregnant, what happens? You know, others will tell you, so you will not have access to or you will not have you can't claim paternity to the child, so it becomes abanye umntana kagogo, umntana kamalume, and all these other funny things. So one of the other problems to those statistics is that question, and it becomes worse in a modern world, in a modern country, or in the 21st century, where people will think in Klaulo or ilobolo yomntana and so on. They still want exorbitant amounts, 50,000 global lingani, 120,000 global mawai, and so the economy plays another dynamic in that space. But also you've got a relationship that has failed between Bridget and Bongani. And Bongani decides to be spiteful to Bridget and walks away and closes the door even on the child. Then you also find that as Bongani walks out, Bridget decides to lock the gates and not give Bongani the keys to come back and see his child. So you find that now between this couple that has ended things, they decide to be spiteful to each other, but they don't understand that this thing is going to affect the little one,
Absolutely.
And then, of course, you'll find that the other ones, the father passed on when, the baby was still an infant, or while you're still pregnant, or when the baby was 6 or 12 or 20 and so on. So you've got another element of a father who passes away, who will also add into those statistics. Another one who elopes, it was a one-night stand somewhere in the streets of Sentin. Bongani leaves Johannesburg without knowing that Bridget is pregnant, and they do not have any form of communication, and Mora, you become a single mother, the child, is raised without a father.
Yeah.
So those are the diverse issues that I'm saying they are contributing to the basket of this high number of, absent fathers in their kids' lives. And at times, I think society then tends to paint it as if everyone ran away without having to be cognizant of some of the circumstances that I'm talking about. I'm not saying it's justifiable for a child to live without a father. I grew up without a father. I know the psychological impact of that. And many others of us, have grown in that environment. It's not a thing that we must make a norm. But these are some of the circumstances when men and women, insult each other on social media. We need to be cognizant of some of these factors that I've brought forward.
Absolutely. And by the way, we are asking you to weigh in on our conversation with us this afternoon. 061-410-4107. That is our WhatsApp line if you'd like to send through a voice note or a message. Alternatively, you can find us on 086-000-2032. And the question for you is, what's your role in your child's life, particularly as a father? How do you show up? How do you show up in your presence and your light as a dad? What does that look like? What does that feel like for yourself or for your child? 086-000-2032, 061-410-4107. That is our WhatsApp line. We'd love to hear your stories. You'll often say on social media how women leave you out of the conversation. Here is an all-women's show, bringing y'all center, focusing y'all center to the conversation. And part of this conversation also, Bongani, is the understanding of the historical context also of blackness in this country. When we look at colonialism and what it did to the black family structure by way of, black bodies being migrated as cheap labor, it's had a generational impact.
No, definitely. And others might say, no, it's such an old thing. Why do we still want to come back to that conversation? But the spatial planning and the spatial setup of South Africa, it's like that, Never mind somebody who lives in Mutu and comes to Johannesburg, but there's somebody who lives Soweto. I think the last township or section of Soweto should be Zola, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody would leave Zola and go and stay somewhere in Midrand because of the costs of having to commute between these two towns, So never mind somebody who's going to leave Kunu or Kumha or Hamlechana in Limpopo to come and find greener pastures, and they would not necessarily be there on a day-to-day basis, And that apartheid literally made sure that it separates, the family setup of what a black family looks like and what a white family looks like. And it has become such a norm and such an okay thing that Uma would sit on the other side of town on the left-hand side and Ubaba would be on the left-hand side of town. And unfortunately, in the midst of these things, men will also try and start new families wherever they are.
Yeah, absolutely. I roll my eyes.
So those are some of the issues that we're dealing with. But also, I think when these surveys are done, there are people who might not necessarily be together, but you've got fathers who are there for their kids. But probably one day you can talk about this phenomenon of single mom. What is a single mom? Solely because of me and you are no longer in a relationship when we have a child, but we are co-parenting. But you still call yourself a single mom. Never mind my wallet. Me, on Friday, I pick up the child, we go and play Nompopi and so on.
I feel like that's another compounded topic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. On a different day. And probably women should be the ones that discuss it, because if I'm the one who's going to weigh in as a man...
You're going to come in from an area of defense.
But no, they're going to say patriarchy, this and that. So I think it's good for women to then define what they call themselves, because they're the ones that say, I'm a single mother. So if a man says, I'm a single father, then they must be able to say, bring us into context. Let us understand when Bongani, you say you're a single father, what do you mean? Because somehow I think other people interpret these texts that we own for ourselves without understanding them. And I think that if me and you are co-parenting, you're not a single mother. You might be a single woman looking for a partner. It's okay. But as far as being a mother, you're not a single mother.
Absolutely.
We're doing this thing together. But I'm not saying I'm imposing, the general understanding yakabongane onto this,
Yes.
phenomenon of what a single mom is. So you've got also those elements where people will then say, even though Bongane is actively involved in his child's life, but I would still, whenever I fill up a form or something, I would always, take the option of being, I'm a single mother or I'm a single parent.
Yeah.
But also, we do have a number of guys who run away for one reason or the other.
Absolutely.
But we cannot justify you running away. You might be given hard time by culture, kabontomazana, but it doesn't mean you can't fight for your child. You might be having your fights with umamengane, but it doesn't mean you must walk away from the child.
Let's hold it there, Bongani. We'll come back and continue the conversation. And the question still stands for you as a dad listening to us, whether you're a present dad, whether you're an absent dad. We're not judging anybody today at all. We're just having a safe, honest conversation. What is your role in your child's life? And how do you show up for your child? What does that look like? What does that feel like in action, in deed, in whatever? How do you do it? 061-410-4107. That's our WhatsApp line if you'd like to send through your voice notes. Alternatively, you can always give us a call. We're also giving away 2 tickets, by the way, in this hour for a couple. 2 tickets to go to the Sam Parks Mapambukwe National Park, inclusive of accommodation and meals. All you have to do is get yourself there. The question is, what is the Mapambukwe National Park popularly known for? What are they popularly known for? Send us a WhatsApp on that.
We are going to Durban when Bafana face Benin in the FIFA 2026 World Cup qualifiers. On Saturday, 18 November at the Moses Mabhida Stadium. Gates open at 12 p.m. and tickets are available for 50 Rand for adults and 20 Rand for children at Ticket Pro. Come dressed in your national colors to support Bafana to win prizes. If you are not in Durban, catch the game on SABC1 at 3 p.m. Also available on sabcsport.com.
Open the Absa Cash Invest Tracker account and earn the best rates in the market. More than the top 10 money market funds' average returns. Enjoy unmatched advantages at an interest rate of 8.9% per annum. Plus, if you open your account today, you could win your share of 15 million Rand in luxury travel experiences for 2. Yes, you heard right. A trip for you and your partner. My bank does that. Open yours today in less than 5 minutes on the banking app at your nearest Absa branch or consult your private banker or call 0860 111 515. Absa is an authorized FSP and a registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga. Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
It is the Full Circle with myself, Bridget Masinga, on this Wednesday afternoon. And we are in conversation now with parenting coach and, of course, founder of the Cool Dads Foundation, Bongani Luvalo, joins me as we try to define fatherhood through a contextual framework today that's reflecting a little bit on the historical implications of colonialism, the separation and deliberate destruction of black families, what that means in the modern context, and some of the challenges that dads probably have, fathering in this day and age. Because that's the other thing. We were saying, if we are to use the context of spatial planning, colonialism, all of those systems that broke black families 4 generations ago. What is in our way now for us to reconstruct? Because I feel like at essence, at core, we all know what we would desire for our families, even if it's not exemplified. Because family is a feeling more than it is a place, right? That's why friends become family.
Yep.
So what is stopping us from reimagining what that should look like in 2023?
I think top of the mind, it would be material conditions. And I think in the imagination and the design of what a family looks like from one individual to another, within the black community, material conditions always find themselves as a center glue to how the final picture looks like. So everyone would always come back to India Malobo. The other day I was arguing or debating with I was actually making a comment to my sister's partner there in a queer relationship, and I was like, "Hey guys, when I see you, I'm trying to say, I think 5,000 rands, man, is that 5,000 negotiating amalobol, and we build a family because I see your commitment here." And she was like, "What? Me 5,000?" and so on. So in the setup of family, and even last week Saturday we were having a dialogue of men and the pain that comes with fathers who are unemployed. It's such a big thing, and we don't tend to take a moment and say, emotionally and mentally, where is Bongane? As a father, as somebody who wants to be actively involved in the child's life, because earlier on I referred to the question of if me and you are not married and we have a child out of wedlock, there's a question of intlawulo, ilobolo and so on, and those things, they do not come cheap. So those are the material conditions that stand in the way between our imagination of what a family looks like and what would be an end product. In one chapter, the book we have called A Father is Stranger, Mzansi Memos on Fatherhood, one guy debates and tries to find himself within the cultural norms where he loves his girlfriend, they fall pregnant, and he says, "Babes, I might not necessarily be having a lot of money, but I think the savings I have, I've got two options. Do I go and pay ilobolo again before the child is born, or do we save this money for you to go to a private hospital and give birth?" And in their own negotiations, they conclude that he must use that money to ensure that she receives private health care. But now, when the child is born, the family says, "Who are you? We don't know you, so you can't be involved in the naming of this child and actually coming to our own house to see this child." And now he finds himself trapped after he had taken a noble decision that was discussed between him and his partner. So those are some of the situations that many other guys and women find themselves in. It might not be Bridget saying hambo hlawule ekhaya, but Bridget is also understanding of my financial condition where I am, to say at least to pay le 23,000 nyane sesekhona account, maybe singayobhadala private gynecologist, and ultimately we can even pay for me to give birth at a private hospital. Both of us are comfortable with it, but your mother comes in, your father comes in, your uncle, your aunt, and then self-defines that no, as a family this is what is supposed to happen. Makahlawule and intlawulela ekhaya of 50,000 rand, and where you are sitting, you are like, I know it took us a lot to have this 40,000 rands for me to go and give birth at a private hospital. So these material conditions are really making it also hard for us to negotiate our ways in these relationships, especially the question of culture. And I think as a black community, we should start asking ourselves, what's more important? Our grandkids, our children having to grow up with both parents, whether in the same house, or them co-parenting, in a very positive way, or do we want to hold on to a culture that might tear what a good parenting order is supposed to look like?
I mean, I've got a rebut for that, but before I go to the break, we lost Anon. I had a rebut for that, because I would almost say, Uti, they should be, in that scenario, there should be a circumstance where there's a willingness to fight even the cultural norms and systems, right? There should be a willingness from the dad to not give up. For me, that I understand the circumstance. I understand the challenge of culture and finance and how the two intersect. But the point where a father gives up in trying to show up becomes problematic.
Totally agree with you. And the story is quite beautiful. Please buy our book.
We have to go to news in 30 seconds.
Sure. We'll come back to this one. Let's cross.
We have to go to the news. Let's take the headline news with Ann Musa, and then we'll come back on the other side of this. 086 000 2032. That is our live call-in line, or 061 410 4107 is our WhatsApp.
Good afternoon. Thanks, Bridget. In the headlines, the Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development says the supply of eggs and poultry products has improved and there is no need for panic buying. A dog attack has left a woman and a 3-year-old son in a critical condition in the south of Durban, and some residents of Tabanchu have expressed their excitement to see Springbok rugby player Oxenchair in person. I'll have details on these and other stories at 3.
Conversations that you connect with and react to. SAFM.
We can all share the WhatsApp line, by the way. So if you want to weigh in on our conversation around fatherhood, not parenthood, the fatherhood specifically this afternoon, you are more than welcome to on our WhatsApp line to send us a voice note. And if you do want to go and experience a 2-night stay at Mapungukwe's National Park this weekend specifically, 19th and 20th of November, you just have to be able to get yourself there. We are giving 2 tickets for a couple to the Sand Parks, Mapungukwe National Park, which are inclusive of accommodation and meals, and all you have to do is just get yourself there. And the question that we are asking you is, what is Mapungukwe's National Park popularly known for? You can send us that answer on WhatsApp, and my producers will be in contact if you are the winning answer. We've got some callers. I don't know if Anon is back on the line. I see Bongani is also on the line. Let's see maybe if we can get to them. Bongani, how are you? Oh, Anonymous first. Anon.
Hi, Mom Bridget. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Go ahead.
I'm very well. No, I just want to comment on what your guest in studio was saying, and just further say I'm one person who has experienced the same thing. Where, I mean, you get taken through a lot in terms of having to pay damages because you're not with this person. They don't allow you visitation. But like finally, the mother, for whatever reason, decides to leave the child to you. You're not working. You're not working, and you have to be as a father to a child. You're not working. The psychology of that, having to be a father, and a society that is hugely skewed towards supporting single mothers. And when you're a single father, it's kind of frowned upon as to the first question is, why did you leave the mother? It's not looking at what are your difficulties, because you have a child constantly every day whom there are certain things as a father you can't give to them because you need that mother touch, that womanly love. And fortunately, in my case, I had a wonderful woman who took in where we took in my child. But the difficulties of that now is that the child competes with with my wife now.
Yeah. Sorry, Anon, we got cut off, but I think I get the essence of what Anon is saying there. The difficulties and just the lack of support for single fathers, and also the financial challenges and constraints that maybe we don't take into account that make up for why dads stray sometimes. Before we get to that, Bongani in Johannesburg.
Yes, good day. How are you?
I'm good, brother.
Thanks. Look, I think these cultural things, they are a hindrance to a lot of fathers who are actually prepared to go as far as supporting their children till. I'm calling because I have this. I was in the same thing. My daughter, when she was born, I was actually blocked from even seeing her. There were hindrances. I couldn't even speak to my daughter, and she grew up. Her mother passed on when she was 7 years old. They took the daughter and dumped her with me, and I wasn't even employed at that time. And she grows up with me. I find a job. I buy myself a house. I stay with her. When she finishes matric, they take the daughter away from me, and they say I haven't paid the
damages. Yeah.
And yes, and then I was even excluded when my daughter got married. But I was expected to pay her fees when she went to university. You understand? They are killing the relationship. Even now, that relationship is not good because of the in-laws, not because of my daughter. I don't blame my daughter.
Can I ask that we wrap it here just for today, so that we can get to the other callers and the other. I appreciate you sharing, though. I appreciate you sharing. Much appreciate. Let's go to WhatsApp.
Afternoon, Bridget. I'm not a father, but I have something to say. Having been raised by a father as a girl, I did farming with him. He didn't go to school. He taught me a lot. And I still appreciate Nelson Mandela's mom, him having lost his dad at a young age, how she took him to the other fathers in the family to mentor him, and how he turned out to be the father of the nation, having grown fatherless. I'm just saying there is always something positive out of anything, depending where we are standing and how we look at it. This is Nikiwe from Mangaung. Thank you.
Thank you, Sis Nikiwe. I think, sometimes we wish we had more time for the show and the conversations. But what our two callers bring up, Anon and Bongani specifically, Anon spoke about a lack of support and perhaps even financial challenges for why some fathers would be absent during the journey. And Bongani spoke about the cultural hindrances and maybe the interference that comes in. The only thing I'd like to correct, Bongani, is when your daughter listens back to this conversation, you don't want her feeling like she was a burden at any point in your life. So languaging is very important. When you use a word like they dumped her with me, it almost makes it feel like yabo. But languaging is very different. It's very important.
Look, as men, I think part of our toolbox is learning how to express ourselves with the right words. And I think it's still a journey. Look, Bridget, in the midst of all these things that they're saying, one thing I want to emphasize, and I think they touched on the things that I started on earlier on, society does not have patience for a man that does not have money and that looks vulnerable or at their weakest point.
I'll concede that.
Society does not have any tolerance for that, including, I remember, this is a guy who's working and has got, a child who cries, and you take your child, and guys, this generation is doing very, very much better than our own fathers. That we must acknowledge. I remember being at a mall, and we even started a campaign of getting toilets or bathrooms that are, allowed to have a father and a child in the same, and you're holding the child, and instead of somebody saying you're not holding the child properly, or did you give them milk, everyone is like, where's the mother of this child? Why don't you give this child to his or her mother, but if it was a mother in the same situation, a child who's crying and they're trying to unwrap or wrap them and so on, somebody would have put their bags down and said, let me help you. And so it comes back to the point that I'm saying, that society does not have time and tolerance for men that look weak and men that are not able to provide. And unfortunately, there are two things that collapse a man's mind psychologically: the inability to provide for your family and the inability to satisfy your woman sexually. Those two things collapse a man psychologically. Dead. We can actually even bury you tomorrow.
So how do we do better? How do we support better? Or how do we show up for fathers that want to show up?
I don't even think it's about us fathers. I think the society or women in
particularly as women. How do women show up for fathers that want to show up?
No, we must actually ask yourself questions. Are we ready for men that are involved beyond what we think they're supposed to be doing, which is giving out money? That's the question we must ask. And until we honestly answer ourselves with that, or women answer themselves in that regard, unfortunately, we can't move forward. Because all efforts are going to boil back down to, am I ready for a man who's going to wake up, bath the child, or I'm going to find him occupying the kitchen, or who tomorrow when he loses his job, he says, Bridget, you can go, let's fire auntie, I'll do the chores in this house and so on, and you'll still stand in confidence that this is still your man.
So am I ready to dismantle the construct of what I think the role of manhood is? Okay. I hear
Until that individual conversation happens and a community of women has that conversation and they answer it honestly and act upon that, unfortunately, there's nothing much we can do.
I had to concede there, Bongani, because I think you are correct. When we talk about the role of men and the role of fathers, we'd often use the 3 Ps to say a father and a man is supposed to provide, profess, and protect. And that provide speaks to the finance. And if y'all are saying that creates a challenge, we need to perhaps then have that question with ourselves as women.
Yep.
Yeah. We fast run out of time today, but I think we'll definitely, have you back again. Movember is long.
And we should ask ourselves, how many conversations have we really had in this Movember that really affects women? Like the same way we're going to have, and I'm not downplaying GBV. No one must misunderstand me. Literally from the first day to the last day, we're going to be so packed and having a serious conversation around it, forgetting that the people we're supposed to have a conversation with are the ones at the 1st of November until the 23rd of November, so that by the time you get into the GBV days, men literally can hear you not only from their minds but also from their hearts.
Very important. Let's hold it there this afternoon. It's just gone 22 at 3 o'clock. Aldrin St. Pierre standing by to let us know what's coming up on Beyond the Headline.
Manchester United and Manchester City ladies have a massive encounter at Old Trafford. The Red Devils are navigating a path to the summit. However, the citizens need maximum points. This is the FA Women's Super League. Who are the real queens of Manchester? Catch the Manchester Derby, Manchester United versus Manchester City ladies, the Sunday 19 November at 6:30 p.m. live on SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4. Also available on SABC Plus and SABCSport.com. # we love it here. Brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
You're listening to Bridget Masinga on SAFM.
It is the full circle with myself, Bridget Masinga. Aldrin St. Pierre is in the house. What's coming up today?
Afternoon. Coming up on the show, it is the first voter registration weekend coming up this weekend. So we speak to the IEC, the preparations for this upcoming weekend. And the EFF has again made this call that the IEC should not be using teachers. Affiliated, of course, to the South African Democratic Teachers Union, which is an affiliate of COSATU, which is an alliance.
Like they used to? Didn't they use volunteers a lot of?
They do.
Volunteers.
So they mix them. So you do have the teachers, and then you have the volunteers who are specifically appointed for this specific period leading up to the elections. So they do that. It's a question that has been raised consistently over and over again, and now it's back again. And the EFF says that SATU or SATU members shouldn't be used for electoral staff during the voter registration weekend, and of course leading up to the elections as well. So we'll be speaking to the IEC around that, and then also we're looking into the agreement that has been reached between the Competition Commission as well as a Standard Chartered Bank, and this is with regards to the manipulation of our rand in the US dollar. So remember that this has been an ongoing story. After 8 years of litigation, they have finally reached a settlement. However, though, the 18 other banks are still putting up a fight.
Okay.
So we'll be speaking to the head of cartels at the Competition Commission. Makhala Mutlala will be joining us at 4:10, and they have settled at 42 million rand for that currency manipulation. That
it doesn't help you and I in any way. It's not like we're going to wake up with
and that's the thing,
bing,
right?
SMS to say you've got an extra.
And that's the thing, right? With the Competition Commission, remember even with the bread cartels, what happened?
Yeah.
They were fined. How did that benefit you and I?
No.
Retrospectively, no benefit, but people would say, but then there was oversight around the pricing, which means that bread wasn't as expensive, but already overpaid. So what about the amount that I've overpaid for? How does that benefit me? But anyway, also coming up on the show this afternoon, we speak to Colleen Makubela, the former now Speaker of the City of Johannesburg. Earlier on, she held a press briefing and she insisted that COPE was actually part of the formation of the South African Rainbow Alliance, and there were videos actually as well that they've released that show Musiwa Likota, the president of COPE, being part of that meeting. His argument has been that, but we were still consulting. She has gone ahead and has joined SARA, which we thought was actually a pact.
Yes,
but
it's a party.
No. They are actually coming together as an alliance to contest the elections. So unlike with the coalitions and the pact that you have that's being led by the Democratic Alliance, Action SA and so forth, they are going to contest the election under the banner SARA.
Okay. I saw her posted down here on Empire.
Yeah, and they're everywhere. Hey, they're everywhere. She's like, while we were sitting here, because every Monday we have a meeting, I get a message that I've been fired. I'm like, how? But we are waiting for President Musiwa Likota to be part of the meeting, because we all normally have Monday meetings. So she'll be joining us this afternoon as well to explain the decision that she went into to actually join SARA, and was she given the green light from the Congress of the People.
Should be interesting times. But weekend in Kulu this weekend. I hope you are registered. There's no excuse. Please, wherever you are, if you think you're going to be in KZN come next year, go make sure your details are correct.
Just make sure,
Just
please.
make
Just
sure.
make sure. And by the way, some people think that you can only do it during voter registration weekend.
Eh.
You can go to an IEC office even today to go and register to vote. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. I register at the same place all the time. Like, I go check. I'm first in line come voting day. I am there. Viva!
Amanda.
Aldrin Cynthia is coming through and beyond the headline.
Catch the Insider SA this Monday evening at 6 as pastry chef Sahil Sigabin bakes up a festival of Diwali treats.
And I hope you have a blessed one.
Rudy Page passes his rugby passions onto his family.
I'm beyond proud of my dad. My dad played for my country.
And Loyiso Gijana put his all into music.
That's what has communicated with people, is because I'm writing from my heart.
That's the Insider SA this Monday evening at 6. Repeat Saturday at 1 p.m. and Sunday morning at 9 on S3.
Dear Africa Chipembe,
Siyabonga.
Realeboga. Thank you for experiencing the Rugby World Cup France 2023 in your language of choice on SABC radio stations and SABC TV channels.
This journey is fulfilling and exhilarating when you are on board.
The front row belongs to Africa Tonga.
Brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
The Full Circle with Bridget Masinga, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
To say that we've had some rather unusual weather is an understatement. Monday's freak storm was something that we've now become quite accustomed to. In South Africa. We saw on Monday unusual amounts of hail and heavy rains that hit parts of Johannesburg and Mpumalanga, causing flooding and damaging to property, to vehicles, etc., etc. And in fact, Monday's storm was not quite expected. I saw a lot of reports from the South African Weather Services saying, it wasn't as a result of some kind of weather pattern, so there couldn't be prior warning around it. They had an explanation, of course, a climatological, environmental explanation as to what caused it, but it wasn't something that they could necessarily preempt and hence warn us about in advance. But that often leaves you and I at a place of disadvantage. You've seen the videos coming out of social media of people's damaged homes, trees falling, cars being damaged, and we wonder, where does that leave you as someone who is insured, with your asset insurer? Are you covered? Are you not covered? So Mulibatsi Langa is joining us, Head of Retail Strategic Accounts at Old Mutual Insure. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm great, Bridget. How are you?
I'm fantastic, thank you. So in terms of just our preparation, how prepared are we as home and vehicle owners in South Africa for these freak weather patterns that we keep seeing?
You know, Bridget, you mentioned that Monday's storm was unexpected. It certainly was. And it leaves a lot of homeowners, vehicle owners wondering if they actually are prepared. And some of the things that I can perhaps say as recommendations to homeowners and people who own vehicles is that it's important to always ensure that you work with your broker or your insurer to ensure that you've got adequate cover in place for losses that are caused by severe weather incidents such as flooding and hail, because these, what we call perils, could be excluded from your policy wording in some instances.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that is, yes. And, you know, as a homeowner, you never want to find yourself in a position where you've experienced a loss and your insurer has to unfortunately tell you that you don't have adequate cover. So that is one of the points that I can actually recommend to our consumers. But also, when you do at least confirm that you've got adequate cover, make sure that the sums insured are updated for your home cover, your contents, as well as your vehicle, and also ensure that the limits that you have for the removal of debris is also adequate. You don't, you know, when there's a storm and a tree falls on your home, your house may be covered, but who's coming to remove that tree and whatever other rubble that it causes? So it's really important that homeowners be mindful of those little aspects of the insurance cover.
You see now, Molibati, as you're talking, I'm in my mind thinking that for most of us, we only interact with this kind of paperwork at inception, right? You buy a home, you have to take your structural insurance, right?
Correct.
You buy a home, perhaps you add on additional insurance for home contents and in case of fires and things like that. But we don't interact with that documentation after that initial signing. And I'm pretty sure a lot of us are not well versed as to what is and what isn't covered.
And you should, Bridget. Your insurance policy should renew on an annual basis. So at least in that incident, or in that instance rather, you should be engaging with your broker and your insurance company to review whether your sums insured are adequate, to review whether any additional items that you may have bought, perhaps even a new car, new furniture, whatever the case may be, that it is included and covered adequately in your insurance policy.
How do we then minimize the risk in these instances? You know, and taking into account the financial constraints we find ourselves in, and oftentimes, you know, the many in-case, I call them the in-cases, the in-case packages are the things that we let go of.
We certainly do, and unfortunately, typically insurance becomes that one aspect of people's lives that they kind of want to get rid of when they are experiencing tough economic times. But I would also recommend some fairly inexpensive measures that our homeowners and vehicle owners can take. So be mindful of how water flows through your property, right? So homeowners should make sure that the water flows through and away from their property. This can be done in a manner of creating ditches and slopes to make sure that the water flows away from your building, clearing your gutters and drains to make sure that there isn't any debris that's clogging those waterways. Ensure that you raise your driveways by either putting in humps or keeping sandbags handy in the event of a flooding that you can block the entrances into your home. If there are so if you do have high-valued items and where it is possible, try and keep those high-valued items at higher levels of your home, if that is possible, and ensure the regular maintenance of your municipal drains. You know, it may seem like it's not your problem, it's the municipality's problem, but trust me, when your road starts to flood, it could impact your home. In the event of severe wind, make sure that, you know, you keep trees and foliage away from your home. If you notice that there are loose tiles, flapping zinc sheets, you know, your shade netting is perhaps looking a little bit uncared for, do make sure that you attend to these maintenance aspects of your home or your property. And if it is a case where you are on the road and you absolutely cannot avoid being on the road, do make sure that you've got your emergency roadside assistance contact details at hand. It can be very invaluable in an instance where you are stuck in a flood. or there's severe rainfall that you cannot drive any further from where you are.
Yeah.
And conduct regular maintenance on your vehicle, making sure that your tires and your windscreen wipers are in a good condition. Avoid driving over low-lying bridges, and also avoid parking under trees, because we know what can happen. If the tree falls, it can likely fall over your vehicle.
You talk about that, and funny, after Monday, I was having a look at our parking lot here, and we've got lots of historic trees, and it's obviously open parking. I see myself and my producers all parked way beyond where there was no trees at all on Tuesday. Very important. And let me ask you this. There's so many people who rent, properties, particularly high-rise buildings, complexes, etc. in South Africa. Should your vehicle perhaps be damaged in that kind of instance? I saw footage of cars under carports in many residential homes and complexes. Who's responsible for that, I wonder? Because in your home residency, I'm assuming that you are responsible for all things. But in that situation, is there an expectation that maybe there should be some kind of tenant's insurance that should be at play?
So first and foremost, it's important for the tenant to engage with the owner of the property. In these cases, high-rise apartments or complexes, there would typically be a homeowners association or a body corporate that is involved. And so the owner of the property then needs to engage with that grouping or association to report the incident. And of course, the insurance that covers either the homeowners association or the body corporate would then take over either the claim that's related to a carport that's caved in, or any incident that has happened on common property.
Okay. And would there be, because I know the follow-up would be, would there be room there for a tenant to lay claim should maybe a carport have damaged the car or something or the other, that you can claim against the body corporate or the homeowners association?
Look, if it is your vehicle, as an example, that is damaged, you should perhaps try and contact your own insurance company to handle that claim.
Okay.
And if there is a need for a recovery, it becomes a legal matter. There's liability involved. As an individual, you probably don't want to get involved there, but let your insurance company handle all of that legal background work that gets done in the event of such an incident.
In terms of insurance, Molibatsi, as we wrap it up, are there things that are not covered by way of natural disasters, particularly for assets like vehicles? Are there things that we should be aware of that maybe don't fall within the natural disaster clause?
So, Bridget, every vehicle owner needs to ensure that they know and understand what is covered on their specific insurance policy. My insurance policy for my vehicle may differ to yours for various reasons. And that's why we recommend that our consumers engage with the insurer, engage with your broker to understand exactly what is covered and what is not covered.
Got you. We thank you so much for the time. We have to leave it there today. Hopefully, if you were listening, you got some little bit of advice in as far as that checklist that Molibatsi gave us to go through and just check certain things in our residential environment, making sure that things are in place and intact. Your gutters, your runways for your water, an elevated driveway, that everything, if your trees need tree filling, a lot of us don't think about these things. You think you'll get around to it, but these freak storms are getting worse and worse every single year. It's crazy. El Nino is here to stay. So maybe we use this summer prudently and we put it on our to-do list. The things that we just need to walk around a couple of hours in your yard and just check around, have a look around, the loose things that need to be secured. Rather we spend this little bit of money now getting things intact and in order so that we don't pay a higher price down the line. From myself and my team, that is how we wrap it up today. Hope you've had a good afternoon with us. We don't take it for granted. We appreciate that you could have been anywhere, but you are here between 1 and 3. The conversation continues on social media at Bridget Masinga. Aldrin St. Pierre is coming through 3 till
till 6 o'clock on Beyond the Headline. Inshallah, God willing, we get to do it again.
Hi, I'm Komotso KG Mweketi, and I believe in music's ability to connect, to heal, to remind, and to bring joy. And each week on my Saturday and Sunday show Seasons, right here on SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide, I endeavor to do just that. So join the movement of Seasons every Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's addictive. You might invite a friend.